Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Dungeon Dive. All right, so tonight we are going to take a little look at what I think is probably the best monster manual ever written. Of course, I probably shouldn't say that because I haven't read them all, but I'd be really surprised if I ever come across one that I like as much as Fire on the Velvet Horizon. And this is written and illustrated by Patrick Stuart and Scrap Princess. So those are two names that you're going to be hearing quite a bit of on this channel over the next year, because we're going to be looking at a lot of books that they have created. Many of the books they've created are for the Lamentations of the Flame Princess RPG system. This particular book here, this monster manual, is 100% game agnostic. As a matter of fact, there aren't even any stats in this book at all. No hit dice, no strength, no movement speed, nothing. This is a monster manual in a very broad and general sense when it comes to the game system. It is a treasure trove. I mean, just an absolute bumper crop of ideas. And that's why I like it so much. I almost consider this book to be more of a work of weird fiction than I do a game supplement. Even the back of the book, I am like no other thing, a gem not famed for brightness, dead, but only listen and I live. Voiceless I speak, thoughtless I lie, deeper than dark water, sharper than a swift sword, stranger than a drugged dream. I serve in ordered ranks that never change, till night, when a gallery of shadows paints your thoughts with more colors than a careless artist's hand. Lose me or be lost in me. I am a place you may not go. Once there, I will not leave you. Though made of broken things, I am yet whole, and guard 100 murders. Let's kill your friends for fun. So that tells you absolutely nothing about what you are in store for. However, it also lets you know exactly what you're in store for. If you know that this is a monster manual and you read that, you're like, okay, this is not your normal D&D monster manual. So even in the beginning here, the creators kind of give you an idea that you're not in for your typical excursion into stat blocks and your bog standard kind of information that you might be expecting from a monster manual. And so over here you have your table of contents, and that lists all the monsters. And I believe there are around 75 or so. And this is kind of like your typical page layout for something that you might be looking at here. You have a drawing, and it's usually a very stark and bold illustration, scribbly. That is definitely Scrap Princess's style. And then a lot of text, and I find that reading about these monsters really is like reading weird fiction, and it tickles that same, or scratches that same itch that I have in my brain, because they are so incredibly well written. The prose is exquisite. The creativity on display is really second to none. The text is very small, so I'm sitting a little bit far away, so I'm going to have to move the book a little bit to read, but let's see here. The let's see. Oh, there we are. There's a pronunciation key underneath there. The Ascathetes. I can't say that word. The Ascathetes are a civilized and reasonable people, focused here from an incomprehensible world where life and heat beat up from the earth in regular time, and death reigns from a cold sky where impossible gods move. Their curling, vertically orientated bodies look like thick, translucent smoke or running wax from multiple candles, fouled and merging together as one. The torsos curve like question marks, only a few feet of frictive tail pressing into the earth. The Ascathetes are unnaturally strong. They can easily retain their stance despite its apparent balance and poise. Their substance is fluxal, tough and dense, much more than normal flesh. Slim whip-like tentacles undulate oddly and poke out from their body at mad angles. The Ascathetes control these cords through concentration. They serve as arms and grappling hands. The average Ascathete can regularly claim the two tentacles just below its head. These will still grasp, gesture, and emphasize remarks in mimicry of mankind, while the rest of the tentacles writhe. If an Ascathete becomes distracted or upset, all its tentacles bug out and madly wave in response. Through inner harmony or force of will, one may arrange its tentacles in patterns of its choice. The harmonious use of limbs is a strong sign of status amongst them. Two under semi-permanent control is considered enough for polite society. So as you can see, a very different kind of description for the monster. And it gives you a lot of fluff. So this is definitely, I would say, that it's a work of purple prose. You have a lot of description, they're verbose. But what it's doing is as a game master or as somebody using this kind of as a launching point for, let's say, like maybe some creative writing or some world building, is that it's planting seeds of creativity in the mind. And it allows the person, the creator of the world, of the module, of the scenario, or of the story, it allows, or it generates many points of interest, each of these entries. So we have the anemone men, or the peaceable people, the atrocious crows, the ants of neutrality, or the equal ants. I like these guys. It's pretty cool. They only seem like insects from a distance. When examined closely by the eye, it can be seen that they are lines, matte black lines like those a pencil leaves upon a page, existing somehow above the surface of the world, limbs and bodies like a sketch, and dull ovoid faces. The azul, the bedlam birds, boa boy, the blathering bird with its long legs, the boa constrictor, the bog elf, swamp drunks, the color monster, capitulators. So yeah, this thing is just, oh man, it's such a great book. I love it so much. The corbeau, the crimson contradron, curselings, the crypto spider. This small intelligent spider is so harmless and weak that it seeks to escape harm by sleeping in your pocket in the day. For this, it trades the secrets that it catches in the night. The crypto spider is about the size of a big mouse, gold and gray in bands, with blue eyes like tiny shining gems. Its legs are small and thin, projecting not far out. A crypto spider speaks quite well. Its voice is like a tiny flute. It hunts poorly, requiring the aid of protection of some other living thing to survive the rigors of the world. Its one advantage is its webs can catch forgotten thoughts. If an intelligent being should accept the crypto spider's terms, it resides upon that person from then on, curling up in a pocket or somewhere next to the skin. It sleeps through the day, maintaining opposite hours to those of its host. While the host slumbers, the spider is awake, and while the host is awake, the spider dozes quietly, warm and safe. You have the discretion bugs, or the considerate ones, those who know, dragonflies, disgustopoid, or the wave leviathan, the whale leviathan, excuse me, the dumb smoke or the spaz gas, dreamans or summerlings, fruit hounds and pin dogs, the Catastrophe Tree. That is a great page. I love the page layouts in this are somewhat evocative of the creature they are discovering. I mean, this huge kind of really lo-fi kind of Xeroxed leaf with a broken out, and then the tree down here, the Catastrophe Tree. The Catastrophe Tree feeds not on rain or the light of the sun, but madness and disaster. Its fruit is delicious, dangerous, and sharp. Its branches cast a pall of pearly gray, and the earth there can be thick with black spikes of fallen hounds, hidden by the piled up silvery leaves of the tree itself. That sounds like something straight out of like Kingdom Death Monster or something. The frivolous drudge, or the tasty newt boys. The tasty newt boys, that's cool, I like that. Stupid, servile, and delicious. The tasty newt boys are a depressing gray-green, attaining full frivolousness, containing full fulvousness. I don't know what fulvous means. I need to look that word up. Only after staining themselves yellow with the bile of their victims, and pulps chewed from the seeping sap of certain glooming roots and nuts. The greater a newt boy's dominance and strength, the more bile it will seize, and the more pulps it will chew, the more yellow it will become, turning at first fulvous, then xanthic bright. And the brighter the newt, the more things it has eaten, and the greater the dreams of its knowledge will be when you gobble it up. All right, I don't think I want to come across one of those. The furnace chlorochorus, the geisha spore, the fuse-meister. That's awesome. Some of these, a lot of the drawings, Scrap Princess is very abstract. And his drawings seem, most of the time, to simply suggest what the thing looks like. And so I can see how some people may not like that. But for me, because I'm viewing this more as a work of weird fiction, it allows my mind, as I'm reading the description of the creatures, it allows my mind to kind of fill in the abstractions of the art and come up with something that is far more evocative than any artist could ever draw. The Geyser Lord, Oracle of the Vent, Fumeral Lich, Hadians, the Ashcot of what they are composed, Hermitgeist, Hex Dragoons, the Jukai City, the Imperator Ape or the Eagle Ape. The tales of the Imperator Ape or Eagle Ape are so like violent fictive dreams that many have assumed them to be so and sought the beast expecting something less than what was described. Few who have returned, and the stories of survivors have only added to the trail of dead. The Imperator prefers deciduous hilly woodlands where the shadows gather thickly in the trees. In the gloom between the branches, its azuline down seems darker, almost black. Only in direct sunlight can the beautiful sky and petal blue of its small and downy feathers be observed. So it's like an ape/eagle of some kind. The Kindernaw, Lunaraptor, the Chiron, the Mobius snail or the sail snail, the moon ape. I really like this page here. The Monster Maiden. That's a really, really pretty page. The Murder Men or the Other Men, the Mortal Things. The Navarch of Avat. They use this weird V letter, and I'm not sure what letter that is. There's a few made up letters that they use throughout. The Paladins of the Fall. The Paradusa. But yeah, so if you're into weird fiction and role-playing games and just world building, creative writing of any kind, I highly, highly recommend this volume. It truly is a one-of-a-kind work. The Poignant Men. A lot of this, let's see, when was this written? I'm not sure if it, let's see, it's under a work under a Creative Commons, non-attribution, non-commercial 4.0. I think I got my copy from, lulu.com. It's a print on demand. So you can probably find a PDF. I'm looking for a date. I don't see a date. The reason I'm curious about a date is I'm wondering if this was written before or after the popularity of the popularity of the creepypasta stuff, like, the Slender Man, and what was it? What was the Marble Tulip Honey Drip? What was that one? What was that one called? And like the I Love Bees, that kind of stuff. Because this does remind me of things that could have come from creepypasta, internet lore, or things that maybe could have inspired some creepypasta. What was that one called? The gosh, I can't believe it. I can't remember it. Oh well, somebody will point it out. Marble Tulip, Marble Bee. I don't know. I remember the name being quite funny. But Priest of Hooks, the Quarnix. See, there's that letter again. Maybe somebody knows what that is. Or maybe it's described in here and I just haven't found it yet. I would like to see these two artists work together on a book of fiction. Maybe something like House of Leaves, which I think could be pretty cool, where they develop a book that is a story, but the book itself is also kind of a work of art. Because a lot of this does remind me of Daniel Lusky in a way, just in how the layouts are. It's kind of like form and function. The layouts kind of give you a sense of the creature being discussed. And this is a really great drawing, the Strangels. You can tell, I think he uses whiteout as a medium here, or at least white paint or white ink on top of ink. Mixed mediums, I like that. The Stumbleweed, the Sunset Stork. So yeah, I'm not going to go through every page, don't want to give it all away, but it wasn't very expensive, and I think you can still get this as a print on demand. I think it was like $20 or something. But yeah, So if you're looking for something different and you haven't yet explored the work of Patrick Stuart and Scrap Princess, I highly, highly recommend it. I put this book right up in the same tier of, well, I'm not going to say that. I believe this is comparable to the works of writers like Michael Sisko or Thomas Ligotti, J.M. McDermott, writers like that who I think are really kind of pushing the boundaries on creative and weird fiction. And I would have no problem at all putting this on the same shelf of authors like that. So, all right, well, I hope you guys like something a little bit different tonight. Thanks for looking at Fire on the Velvet Horizon with me. And we'll talk to you guys later. Okay, bye-bye.